Welcome back to Dumb Jocks. We're going to preview the AFC and NFC East today. So, where'd you want to start, Michael?
Let's start in the less good of the two divisions. Let's go to the NFC East. Shots fired.
I know you scared me for a second. Don't tell me I'm about to get angry already. Oh, I thought we were about to get going.
So we'll go worst to first as usual. We'll start in Washington today. They were 8-1 last season. They found a way to be average again. 24th in scoring offense last year, 20th in total yards, 7th ranked scoring defense, 3rd ranked defense in terms of yardage, which is quite a weird split.
Well, their offensive turnovers, that's probably what makes the split.
I mean, they had Carson Wentz, so probably a lot.
Great.
So their passing touchdowns to interceptions, they had 16 to 27.
Yeah. So I think that's where your gap for defensive stuff is right there. But they're back at it at quarterback, so Sam Howell.
You know how I felt about Sam Howell for quite some time now. I loved this man in the draft. I wanted the Steelers to draft him so badly. All reports are he looks really good in camp. He's looked good in what I've watched of him preseason. Hasn't been a lot because I'm busy, but I'll definitely be watching week 1. I want to see what he looks like.
Oh, can't wait, dude. Be able to see some real football again. See how some of these teams actually look panned out on week 1.
Yeah. Eric Bieniemy's the new offensive coordinator. Ron Rivera probably, I would imagine, on the hot seat this year. Year, I believe, 5 in Washington.
Yeah, it's probably close to it.
Won the division. His first year in 2020, so this will be year 4.
So, yes, but like we've said before, with a new quarterback at the helm and all, he might not be necessarily judged on wins and losses, but how the team actually looks and progresses.
I do believe, but for a veteran head coach, I think it's different. Because you look at it, Sam Howell has a great year. You have a new owner coming in. They may make Eric Bieniemy the head coach.
Well, so I think if Sam Howell has a great year, I think their defense is going to be fine with Eric Bieniemy. I think I'm going to say his name wrong every time I go to say it. But I think he ends up helping that defense out. I think that defense is stacked. I think that defense looks real good.
Eric Bieniemy is an offensive coordinator.
Oh, really?
He was the OC in Kansas City for like 10 years.
See, dude, I get him confused with somebody else every fucking time. I fucking knew it, too, as soon as we started saying the name. I'm like, I'm going to get him fucked up. Okay. But I think either way, I think the defense is going to look good, and I think the offense should just look fine. I think the offense is serviceable and does what it needs to do. I think they should be fine. They should be able to get above 500 again this year and fight for it.
It is worth noting they did beat the Eagles. They gave the Eagles their first loss last season on Monday night.
Right, yep.
Monday or Thursday night, I believe.
Always a divisional game,
Monday
game. Especially team that hot. The other teams are going to come in really hot, knowing they need it and want to take out a division opponent.
They tied the Giants, which I hate ties. I think we should just do double overtime. I hate ties.
Nah, too much.
I hate ties. Fine, then both teams take a loss.
Nah, dude.
You couldn't win it in 75 minutes or 70 minutes, whatever it is now.
No, I think we put it all on the kicker.
Kick from 25. If they both make it, go to 30,
and 35. Just keep moving it back until they miss, until one hits and one misses.
What happens if, we go to 55 and they both miss? Do we go to 60 or do we go back to 50?
You meet in the middle. So you went from 50, they both made it. 55, they both missed. You go to 52.5.
Okay. I like it. We should pitch this to the NFL.
That way it just keeps getting smaller, you know what I mean?
It's like in baseball. Instead of extra innings, I think you should just do a home run derby.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, Matt, you see a baseball game and a home run derby on the same night, I got my money's worth.
It doesn't have to be a long home run derby. Do it kind of like soccer, 5 pitches.
5 pitches. What happens if nobody hits a home run though? Do you go to
single pitch?
Single pitch,
and then do or die.
And then is it hit a home run or is it whoever just hits it furthest?
If you both hit a home run, it's whichever one went furthest.
Okay.
Unless it's in the first 5.
Okay. We have so many good ideas.
just interesting, dude, because we're the people who watch the sport. We know what we want.
Yeah. Except me, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Do you have much more in the Commanders?
Yeah, I'm pulling up their schedule right now. If this would stop giving me the Cardinals for some reason. They do have. It's worth noting. There is some tough.
Do they? I think they have a 3-game road stretch. Are they one of the?
They do. They open with the Cardinals, and then they have at the Broncos, and then they have a tough stretch of Bills at the Eagles, Chicago at Atlanta, at the Giants, Eagles again, at the Patriots, at the Seahawks, the Giants, the Cowboys on a Thursday. That might be a Thanksgiving game, actually.
Probably.
Dolphins, at the Rams, at the Jets, 49ers, Cowboys. That's a tough end to the season.
They have what seems to be like just a couple of tough games all put together.
Yeah, they have
a stretch.
You know, you'd like the Bills and Eagles to be spaced out more. You don't want them back to back. You don't want the Eagles to face them twice in the month of October. Dallas is always a tough game, but you have a stretch you have 3 weeks between them and your second Eagles game. Excuse me, and then you have 4 weeks, including a bye, until you face San Francisco.
Yeah, I think San Francisco isn't in the worst exact spot for them. I think
you might have San Francisco at a point. They're not playing for anything.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't think San Francisco's the worrisome team there. But I
want to say this. I want you to follow my logic here. There is no game. I mean, outside of the Eagles and the 49ers, which is 3 games.
Yep.
There is not a team I look at and say this team is significantly better than Washington, and Washington should not be in this game. But I don't see a game outside of the Cardinals and whatever happens with the Rams that I say the Commanders are significantly better than this team.
So I think the only team you really have to worry about is the 49ers. But like we just were saying, that's wicked late in the year. They might not even have anything going for them. They might not need anything to play for, and they might be able to keep people healthy and fresh for their playoff run. While the Eagles, like we were just also saying, they were the team that dealt them their first loss last year. I said it last week. You're never going to be scared of a division rival if you face them in a big spot or in the playoffs, which I think this team can really make some noise that people don't expect. Oh yeah.
I mean, I would not be shocked at all if this team is in second place and fighting for a playoff spot late into the season. I do see a lot of swing games here. I think they're better than the Broncos. It depends how they start. I think they're better than the Bears. At the Patriots, probably a push.
I think a lot of it's very close.
I don't think the gap between them and Seattle is that big.
No. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they're very close. I think, like you said, I think the only teams that you look at roster-wise, and it's the Eagles and 49ers, but like you said, the Eagles are a division opponent. You're not scared of that. That's 1-1. That's what you're really trying to get to at that point.
And then the 49ers, I mean, who knows? This is a team. They have an underrated
injuries,
they have that too. Every 2 to 3 years they have it, so technically they're due if history's anything to go by. I don't wish that on that team. Just observing.
Statistics.
Observing. I lost my train of thought now.
Yeah, it was me a couple minutes ago. But I think this is a team. Sorry. No, keep going.
They have an underrated offensive line. I think they really want to run the ball. They want to make it easy on Sam Howell, and then they want to take deep shots to Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. You're hoping he can come on. I think this is a team that's going to surprise a lot of people. I will not be shocked if this is a team that wins 9 or 10 games, and we're looking at as a playoff team end of December.
I think they fight for at least a wild card, if not fighting with the division.
I think that just depends on how hot the Eagles can start.
Well, right. I think that's a big factor.
Because to me, if the Eagles come firing out and they're 4-0, you're done. You're not winning that division. If the Eagles stumble and they're 2-2, you have a shot.
We'll get to them.
Yeah.
What's next? Next team, do you have any other Commander thoughts?
No.
Oh, the New York City Giants.
The second best New York team.
Still?
No, I think they're the best New York team now. They were 15th, the 15th best scoring offense, so a top half offense, 18th ranked offense in terms of yardage, 17th scoring defense, 25th overall defense. They ended the year. God.
They got a little hot during the middle of the season or somewhere. They were hot for a little bit. I think it was like a 3-game stretch.
Ended the year, looks like they got blown out by Philadelphia week 14.
Yeah.
Beat Washington, lost to Minnesota, beat the Colts, lost to the Eagles again, then beat the Vikings in the playoffs and got destroyed by the Eagles.
Yeah, so they got stuck with the Eagles twice.
Was never a team that really got hot except for the start of the year when they were, they won a lot of close games. They were 7-2 at one point, with no game being decided by more than one score, with the exception of the Bears game.
I felt like that was probably around where it was. It was, or like they had a good 3-game stretch for a little bit. It wasn't anything crazy, but they were sneaking out the wins.
Well, they lost.
You think they were a contender?
They lost to Dallas in week 3, and then proceeded to go on a 4-game win streak against Chicago, the Packers, the Ravens, and the Jaguars.
Yeah, that's when you thought when they went in to beat, or they ended up beating the Ravens and the Jags. That was pretty big last year, but then that's kind of where they fell off.
And then they just kind of traded wins and losses. One point they had a 4-game after the bye week. They beat Houston, and then they lost to Detroit, Dallas, tied the Commanders, and then lost to Philadelphia.
So in your mind, 4 losses.
Yeah. I hate ties so much. I don't know why. I just do. I mean, the big story, I guess, is Saquon, and also who's catching passes.
I think it's Saquon that he got tagged, or they gave him something.
They gave him the tag.
And then they paid all this money to Daniel Jones. But like you said, who the fuck's catching the ball? So, like, it really comes down to, it's kind of a iffy subject for him, I guess. I don't know. Average quarterback, a lot of money. But they don't have anybody in particular for him to give it to. It reminds me of some other teams.
It's a team I look at last year as they had great coaching, which made up for the talent. Or, they were not a relatively talented roster compared to Philly, Dallas, all those other teams. I don't know that they can do that this year, being they have games against San Francisco, Seattle, at Buffalo. They're going to have the Jets. We'll see what happens there. They have the Patriots, which is never an easy game. That's 4 games right there. You changed 4 games from last year. You're a 5-win team.
Yeah. That's
a quarter of your season.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down to, like you said, a lot of those wins in the first 9 weeks were 1-score games. It's going to come down, if you're winning 1-score games, you're going to keep pushing, but your talent's not there, but your coaching is getting it done.
We're going to find out what they're made of quickly. They have primetime games week 1, Sunday night against the Cowboys. Week 3, Thursday night at the 49ers. Monday night against the Seahawks, and then Sunday night against the Bills 2 weeks later.
All right, well,
we're going to know by week 6 if this team is what they.
I was going to say, they're putting them up against the competition hot and early and putting them all over national television.
A brutal start to the season.
They don't have an easy.
I mean, Dallas is never easy. It's division rival. At the Cardinals, you should win that. And then you go on a stretch at the 49ers, Seahawks, at the Dolphins, at the Bills back-to-back.
So they're one of the teams with three away games in a row, huh?
Nope, 4. Just 2.
Didn't you say at?
Seahawks at the Dolphins, at the Bills.
Is at home.
Commanders, the Jets is basically a home game for both teams. At Vegas, at Dallas, at Washington, they do have a 3-game.
There it is. I was going to say, I felt like they were one of them. That's a hard.
That's a tough 3-game. 2 division rivals. I'd imagine you're going to drop at least one of those games.
Oh yeah, 100. You have to.
You have the Patriots, which is always good. A bye week. Then the end to the season: Packers at the Saints, at the Eagles, Rams, Eagles. I'm sorry. Outside of the Cardinals, excuse me, there is not a team I look at and say you just outclassed
I think
this
Cardinals are
team.
the only team anybody looks at and says they can't beat anybody.
I mean, I think, yeah.
So, like,
And I look at the 49ers as a tier above you. I look at the Seahawks as a tier above you. I look at the Bills a tier above you. The Dolphins a tier above you. I look at the Eagles a tier above you.
I think those, easy.
Dallas, I'm on the fence on. If Dallas is not a tier above you, they're certainly above you in the tier you're in.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense to everybody that heard that.
I just think they're due for a setback after last year. I think a lot of their, like Daniel Jones and such, were playing very, very good football. That I think a setback's just kind of going to happen. America's team?
I have half a thought forming, but I don't know that I'm the person that can phrase it properly, so just give me a moment.
You got to call a different guy.
Nah. I need you to kill some airtime.
Well,
all right. We'll start. I lost my train of thought. Let's move on to America's team, but really just Dallas's team, because everybody hates them. That's not a Dallas fan.
Hey man, everyone hating you is just as good as publicity as everybody loving you.
No, it's not. The Dallas Cowboys were the 4th scoring offense, the 11th total offense, the 5th scoring defense, and the 12th total defense. Was never a team that really got hot. They had a 4-game win streak early in the season. Then they had a 4-game win streak from November to the middle of December.
Bye mixed in there.
Yeah, a bye mixed in.
Yeah.
Usually how that goes.
I think their offense is going to take a step back a little bit this year.
And I got to say this, and I know Cowboy fans don't like to hear it. This team missed Amari Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
They really did.
That's why I think it's going to take even a further step back.
I know he dogs it sometimes. I know he doesn't put an effort on every play. He's a great receiver. He's a great player. And you missed him because Michael Gallup was not himself for most of last year. He came on late, sure. This team missed him.
They missed having a really good duo receiving core.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Dak was doing so well. And now that it's gone, I feel like he's taken an even further step back. And I think it's one of the reasons they got Trey Lance from the 49ers.
It is worth noting Dak Prescott did miss, I believe, 4 games in the stretch.
I think it was a handful. Cooper Rush came in and was doing pretty nice at times. I'm more intrigued by how good that defense has to be.
I feel like we can say this about every season for the Cowboys. I'm more interested in if there's a fight. Like, there's a lot of personalities on that team. Jerry Jones is one of my favorite and also least favorite owners in all of sports.
What do you mean a fight?
Like, some teams just like they infight.
Oh.
I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
Anytime you put a lot of personalities like that together, I'm concerned it's going to blow up.
I feel like the Cowboys usually do a decent job at having everything.
It's also worth noting, we were going to do this division last week. It's a good thing we waited because now they have Trey Lance.
Yep. No, I think that's a huge thing for them. I think it puts Dak really on the hot seat to see what he can do.
I think there are some Cowboy fans I've talked to that love it and some I hate it. I haven't met anybody in between yet. He is a young player with a lot of upside that has played, really half of a real game in the NFL.
Okay.
And you basically got him for free. You gave up a 4th-round pick for him. I believe San Francisco still has to pay most of his salary.
Wouldn't surprise me. That salary's probably stupid high for no reason.
Dak's a guy. He's had a couple of injuries now. He's had ankle injuries on 2 different occasions. If he goes down in week 5, maybe you put Trey Lance in. See what you got. I was
going to say, you had to start Cooper Rush for 4 games last year, so you're back to it's either him or Trey Lance.
I think it's also interesting they can get out of Dak Prescott's contract cap-wise after this season.
Yeah, that's why I think Dak's on a hot seat. I think they're challenging and pushing him.
I wonder if you get to week 8, do you get Dak Prescott not being pulled because of an injury, and you just get him benched if it's a totally lost season?
I doubt it.
I mean, I don't think
we'll have to see how stuff looks.
I doubt they're going to have it be a lost season that early, but we get to week 15 and they're done. Do you put him in for 3 games?
Yeah, no. If you get to the end of the season, you might try and see what he looks like. Who are they playing those 3 games?
Last 3 games at the Dolphins, Lions, at the Commanders.
Yeah, so I could see it happening, but I also think they're going to be competing for a wild card at least.
I would be shocked if this ends up being a lost season for them.
Yeah.
I would be shocked.
Okay, I was like, they should be competing with at least one of those teams. The other ones are what, AFC, I think, the Dolphins, no, Lions.
They play the AFC
with
East and the NFC West.
Okay.
And their other AFC opponent is the Chargers.
But I think they'll be fine. I think they're it's competing for a wild card. It's above 500. I think the team that goes under 500 in this division is the Giants. I think the other ones are above that.
I don't think it's crazy that all 4 of these teams are fighting for a playoff spot late in the year.
No, and that's why be what happens again. I'm just waiting for the Giants to take a step back.
Yeah, it's
probably 5, 6 wins is where I feel like they're going to end up sitting, and I feel like the Cowboys are better than that.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued by the defense. I think for them to be a good team of 10 wins or so, they really do need a top 10 defense, shutting down quarterbacks, shutting down offenses.
It's also worth noting they have to face their kryptonite early in the season, the 49ers.
Yeah, but at least you get it out of the way early.
Yeah.
It's not a late game that you feel like you need to win.
So
they can't crush you.
Notable games on the schedule. They have the Patriots week 4 at San Francisco on a Sunday night, the Chargers on a Monday night the week after. At the Eagles, I imagine that's going to be nationally televised. Commanders, Seahawks, Eagles back-to-back is a tough stretch. At Buffalo, at Miami, Detroit. That is a tough 5-week stretch, 6-week stretch.
Well, I think all these teams are going to have tough kind of stretches around because their division's very heavy, and they all split in the division, it feels like. So your division games matter a lot.
To get the Bills and Dolphins on the road back-to-back weeks, though, that's a tough draw.
I'm pretty sure the Giants had that too, I think, when we were just looking at it. They have it earlier in the season. But
I think Miami, I think every team I've looked at has a road game against the Dolphins. Do the Dolphins just have 18 home games this year?
Maybe.
I don't know how high the ceiling is in Dallas. I do think this is at least a 9-win team. I think that's worst case scenario.
I think worst case is 7. Bottom of the barrel where everything goes wrong.
And that I say that saying if everybody stays healthy, I see this is a 9-win team in the worst case scenario. Everybody gets hurt. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, so I'm saying, it's an NFL season. You're going to lose players somewhere along the line and stuff. And so I think 7's the lowest.
For them to win 7 games, though, I would have to say, okay, Dak Prescott missed half the year. Micah Parsons missed.
Well, so I'm going off. You got to
think
think Dak Prescott missed 4 games last year. I incorporate that people who are good and miss, and if Micah Parsons misses a game or 2, that might be a loss there. I just think that's 7, unless. The thing I keep out of it are season ending. If it's the season ending, your whole thing changes. But if somebody you're playing in NFL football, it's gonna take somebody's gonna miss a week here and there. It's very rare now, even for your quarterback to start all 17 of your games.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I can only think of Mahomes and Herbert did it last year.
Yeah, most teams last year ended up starting 2 to 3 quarterbacks throughout the year.
Yeah.
It's just where the NFL is now.
Some of them used 4.
Some of them did use 4.
I think only the 49ers.
Some of them used 3 in one game.
Who was that?
Dolphins did.
Oh, yeah. That didn't use him all in one game.
3 in one game.
I thought Bridgewater got hurt in the game he started.
He got hurt during a game and a game he started. He got hurt different times too. Their quarterbacks were just getting killed last year. All injuries. At least from what I remember. I could be tripping.
All right. Any last thoughts on this team?
No.
All right. We'll go to the reigning NFC champs, the Philadelphia Eagles. The second best team in Pennsylvania?
Sure, if that makes you happy.
Helps me sleep at night.
All right, as long as that helps you sleep at night, you can believe that, buddy.
They were the third scoring offense and third total offense, 8th scoring defense, 2nd total defense. I mean, this team was amazing for most of last year. I don't have another way to say it.
No, they look like the best team in the NFC by far. Jalen Hurts looks like he could be the best quarterback in the NFC with what they did with him last year.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy, but, like, that is where we're sitting with them.
I guess I hadn't thought of it like that because I always think of the best QBs in the NFL, and I'm always like Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Allen.
Yeah,
I never think of just the
AFC. They're all in the AFC, so they all have to play each other just to get to the Super Bowl, where, like, now the NFC, Jalen Hurts is probably your number one quarterback.
I mean, I can't even tell you who I would put number 2, so yeah, I think you'd have to.
Cousins, Stafford.
If you tell me Stafford's healthy, Stafford's 2 with a bullet.
Like, that's really, you know
Goff,
what I mean? The only people that
season.
are, like, competing for it. Like, they're all older
Derek
guys
Carr.
who are out. Is it crazy that he might be a top 5 in this fucking list?
Yeah.
And, like,
I mean, he was like the 13th guy in the AFC.
That's what I'm saying, and he might be looked at as the top 5 of the NFC, just by going to a different team.
We had to rank our top 5 in the NFC.
Who was crazy?
Jalen Hurts 1. I think I would have Cousins 2.
That's who I put 2.
And then Goff 3.
I put Stafford 3, Goff 4.
Then I would have like all right. Everybody is fully healthy. Is how I'm going to rank this.
I kind of want Geno at 5.
Hurts, Stafford, Cousins, then Dak, and then Goff.
I don't think Dak ever looks amazing, but maybe. I liked what Geno did last year, but I guess you're right. Dak's done it a couple of times. Geno pulled something out of his ass out of nowhere. But that's crazy. We're putting Dak in a top 5 that easily, too.
He'd be – where would he rank him in the AFC? 7th or 8th?
Yeah, low top 10s, if top 10. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It is. It's wild.
All right, the Eagles had a great draft, though. They had Jordan Davis and Nolan Smith, which is the draft the Lions could have and should have had, but I'll get back to that some other time. Why did you disappoint me like this?
Yeah,
Lions?
and I think they shored up that defense.
I mean,
not many people left. I know a couple, like 1 or 2, I think. But for the most part, bring in some great talent that dropped to you because of like other problems, and just start attacking. Like, I think.
I'm sorry, it was Jalen Carter this year. Jordan Davis was last year.
Okay.
They play the same position, so I just got years flipped.
Close names too.
I said it, and I was like, "That's not right."
I remembered Jordan Davis too. That's why I was like, "All right, sounds good to me." I was like, I recall that name too. So.
They both start with a J, and they were college teammates. Give me a break.
But I think they did great to just share up that defense. If you can't score on us, how are you going to win games? And I think their offense, they have 2 arguably number 1 receivers for other teams in the NFL with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. One of the best whole lines in the NFL. I feel like I
think they have the best in the NFL.
Right, okay. I wasn't sure if 1 or 2 of them left last year, but
I mean Jason Kelce is still, I believe, the best center in the league.
Easy, yes.
Lane Johnson's still probably a top 5 tackle in the league.
So yeah, good enough there in general.
They did lose Isaac Samalu, though. He went to Pittsburgh, was a
Okay, see, I knew
either first team or second team All-Pro guard for them. To my knowledge, they didn't draft a guard or bring one in, so I'm curious if they have somebody on the team they're going to bring up.
They already had somebody in waiting. And, too, I think their biggest thing this year on offense is just going to be all the tape. There's a lot of film now. Teams are trying to figure out how to stop you and what to do to hurt you. So it's going to be a lot more interesting to see what they do now, because I don't know if they're going to be able to do as many of those quarterback sneaks as easy as that they were able to do a lot of them last year. I think there's going to be some things that they are going to have to take a step back a little bit from last year's amazing performance.
So currently, Cam Jurgens is their starting right guard. Not familiar with him.
Well, we might be after this year.
After this year, we will know his name, though. Who knows? This team's also kind of the inverse of the Commanders, where I said there wasn't a lot of games I look at they far outclass anybody or anybody far outclasses them. I think this team outclasses just about everybody on their schedule, with the exception of the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Bills. 49ers, I think they're in the same tier.
Yeah. And I think those are the main games. I think a lot of it's going to be how you hold up versus a lot of those big AFC opponents, because I don't think your division opponents will be able to do as well as you should be able to do.
I think this stretch for the Eagles this season, and then I still expect them to be a playoff team regardless of how this goes. A 5-game stretch out of the bye week at Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, at Dallas, and at Seattle.
So a hard stretch, but like you said, I like coming out of the bye. They get the two harder.
I think the worst case scenario, they go 3-2 in that stretch. I don't think they're going to lose 3 of those games or more.
I could see them losing 3 of them.
But even if they go 2-3,
they're still
they're 12-5 instead of 13-4. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, I will be shocked if this team wins any less than 12 games.
Yeah, I won't be shocked, but it will be a little bit surprising. I do understand.
It has only been a few years since we saw an Eagles team win a Super Bowl and then significantly regress.
Yeah. And how the NFC East usually works, teams don't win that division twice in a row.
I think the last team to do it was the Eagles from 2003 to 2004.
I think that's right, too. So I just don't believe that it's something that will happen. I'm just statistically, I think there's teams out there that the Eagles will drop some games they shouldn't drop. Somebody will get hurt or whatever. That's what's going to end up really hurting them and bringing somebody else to the forefront of the division. But they do have by far the best roster out of all of them, and should be able to compete with anybody on the field at any time. So it just depends if they can sneak out some wins, get those handful of plays that they need to win the game.
Yeah.
What do you got on them? Fly, Eagles, fly?
No. Glide, Eagles, glide.
Glide, Eagles, glide.
All right, Mike. Pick a division MVP for the NFC North.
MVP?
A division MVP.
We'll go with one, two, AJ Brown.
I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I'm thinking it, but I didn't want to do it.
Go give me your offensive player of the year. I'm going with Sam Howell.
Yeah,
not even going to.
I wanted you to say it first, so I couldn't say it and be like, "Oh, my thing."
You're giving me credit because I liked Sam Howell last year too.
But let's go with CeeDee Lamb.
All right, defensive player of the year. I'll give you this pick because it's a little obvious.
I'm not going to take him. Yeah, maybe I will take him.
You're gonna make me take him?
No, well, I'll take Micah Parsons.
Kayvon Thibodeau. I expect a big breakout. Giants 5th overall pick last year.
Okay. I like it.
That means I can't pick him for my breakout player of the year, though. So I'll go with Jordan Davis.
So I was thinking about Devonta Smith. I wasn't sure if he already technically broke out.
I'd say he broke out. I think most people know who he is.
Maybe Jahan Dotson tries
Okay.
to become the number one over there. I think Terry McLaurin's already reached a lot of highs.
All right, rookie of the year.
Jalen Carter.
I was going to pick Jalen Carter.
Yeah, well, like that one just felt like he's just getting slotted in and should be able to help tear up all lines and not have an issue.
Yeah. I'll go with can't I think of his name? He's the Cowboys' first round pick.
Cowboys first rounder. Another linebacker, I think, right?
Just defensive tackle.
I'm not
Mazzie Smith.
I'm not gonna think of a D tackle. Wasn't where my mind was.
Let's go to the better of the two divisions now, Mike.
You mean the best division in football?
The second best division in football.
Yeah, okay.
AFC North is better.
I'm just gonna let you have fun and sleep at night. That's fine. You believe what you want.
How many teams in this division you think can win a Super Bowl?
3.
How many teams in the AFC North you think could win a Super Bowl?
3.
Then how is one better than the other?
Because the team that I don't think can win a Super Bowl are the Bills, and other people do.
He said it. He said it. Don't come at me. Come at him. Let's start with last year's last place team, the New York Jets.
The team with a full flip of offense, still supporting a better defense.
I did see a blurb in the back of the newspaper. They have a new quarterback. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I don't know who that is.
Really?
Yeah, did we see that during preseason?
I don't know if I think he did play.
He played a game, and he was a guy that like pushed him after he threw it.
Yeah,
and he goes, "Come on, you don't gotta be doing that." And they were arguing. He goes, "I don't even know who." Aaron Rodgers says to him, "I don't even know who you are." Guy looks up, "I don't know who you are." And Aaron Rodgers, "You don't know who the fuck I am."
I'll just say other QBs would be ripped to shreds by media for saying that.
Oh, it would, but that's Aaron Rodgers for you. He's not there to win games. He's there for the personality.
They were the 29th scoring offense last year, 25th total offense, and then they were 4th in both yards and points on defense.
Well, so I think their defense is definitely top 5 in the league, and they didn't have an offense to help it out. Now they have an offense to try and.
They did end last year on a 6-game losing streak.
Yep, sounds like the Jets.
They were 7.
You have a thought going.
No, I was just doing math in my head.
Oh, I was like, I felt like you had a big thought.
It's really difficult for me.
But I think with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, I think the offense runs at a better pace, gets first downs, gives the defense a better break. I think what it does do, though, it's going to put more pressure on the opponent's offense, and that might be where the defense isn't able to stop them as often or so, just because the pressure will be on their offense more to do more, like on the other way around. Some backwards thinking.
I've seen a lot of people say this team is going to win 14 games, and I think that is just absolutely insane.
No, I think they're going to be.
Look at this team's schedule. This might be the worst 4-game start to the season in the entire league.
Oh, that's probably right.
They open up the Bills on a Monday night at the Cowboys, Patriots, Chiefs. You could legitimately be 1-3 right there.
Yep.
At the Broncos, and we know that's been a weird feud, I guess, between Sean Payton and Robert Saleh. Eagles, bye week. They have week 7 bye.
I was gonna say they have probably the hardest starting 6 games.
That is.
And then they're like, all right, bye week, season starts now, baby.
Yeah, here's the thing: if they're 2-4, and the Bills and Dolphins are both 5-1, which I don't think is crazy, they're not catching up to them.
I think they'll be because they'll be trying to give them some losses later in the year.
Then you out of the bye at the Giants. Then you have the Chargers on a Monday night, the Raiders on how is that a Sunday night game?
Because people have to get scared of Sunday night games.
Then you have the Bills. You have the Dolphins on a Friday.
late in the season.
Looks like a Christmas Eve game.
Christmas
No,
Eve
that's in
football?
November. Never mind. Okay.
Oh.
The NFL's changing their schedule too much. It's confusing me. Falcons, Texans, at Miami, Washington, at Cleveland, at New England. So the end of your schedule is definitely more favorable
when they get to
than the start.
They could win the whole month of December.
But Mike, I'm going to say about this team exactly what I said about the Mets and Padres in spring training this year. You have big media, you have big personalities. This team starts slow. It can tailspin quickly.
It can, but I also we'll
I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. This team starts 0-3. I don't think it's crazy to think this is a tailspin, and I don't think starting 0-3 is out of the question.
I don't know what you mean. So tailspin. I still think I think even if they start the 2-4, 0-3, and they end up at 500, they can end up at 500, which to me is the Jets.
To be 500 though, with all this offseason media, to have New York media on top of it, to be 500 going into the bye week is not going to fly. And Aaron Rodgers, I'm sorry to say it, this is not Wisconsin media anymore. You're going to get asked tough questions.
Yeah, dude, but he's just going to answer them with the word relax. He's just not going to answer them. RELAX.
You think he's going to like what New York media writes about him?
No, but I think he's just going to go back into the box each week.
Go back into his isolation.
Weekly isolation, and then practice, isolation, practice, isolation, game, isolation. I think he'll have a lot of alone time.
If this team can stay 500 and not in fight, I think there's no reason they're not a playoff team because out of the bye week, I think they're better than the Giants. I don't think
Chargers is a fight. They can win it.
I think they're better than the Raiders. Dolphins and Bills are fights. I think they're better than Atlanta, even though I'm high on Atlanta. They're clearly better than Houston. Miami's a push again. I think they're definitely better than Washington and Cleveland. And at the Patriots, who knows?
Amen, baby.
You're at the Patriots late in the season. Who the fuck knows?
Nobody. I don't even know.
The Patriots don't even know.
And I should.
So
should be a win.
I think the win range for this team is anywhere from 7 to 15.
I don't think they can be that hot.
All right. 7 to 13. 7 to 13.
I was like, 15 sounds too hot. It sounds like that's 2 losses. Way too hot.
All right, we'll go to Mike, your New England Patriots, and I'm going to let you take the lead on this.
Oh, that's no fun.
They were the 17th.
You were doing so good.
They were the 17th scoring offense last year. Thank you. 26th total offense, 11th scoring defense, 8th total defense. So take it away, Mike.
I think the defense is kind of still right where it's at. They improved a little bit. I know they lost the safety, Devin McCourty, but that they are deep at safety. They have way too many safeties. I think the offense is completely going to change its look and output of what it was doing last year. They changed OCs where I think this offensive coordinator could put his quarterback in a better position to succeed instead of it kind of just being like, no, this is what I want to do and what I want to run and what should work. I feel like it's more or less this is what you see on the field. Do what you need to do. I think he'll be able to make calls at the line if he needs to again, as he did in his rookie year, which he was not doing much last year.
That was bizarre. I don't mean to jump in. That was bizarre, though.
That's what's crazy.
Usually in the huddle, you would call a pass play and a run play, and then the QB would decide at the line what he's going to call, and he would give a signal. It was really bizarre. They weren't even giving him that. He was running whatever play he was given.
Here's one play
by non-offensive coaches. That was really weird to me.
And it didn't work out. They were able to stay afloat at times, but there were times where it hurt them majorly. And you can tell the difference of how it looked because you had a guy who was out there his rookie year. It was tearing it up and doing really good with actual offense and making decisions and making line changes. And then he got hurt. You put in this other rookie backup who started blowing the world on fire because man didn't know what he just did what he was told. He was like, all right, I'm told to throw it here. I'm just going to throw it here as best I can. I don't really have there was no decision making where that's where Mac Jones is going to be his best is in making the decisions on the field all the time.
Was Mac Jones' biggest strength coming out was he was the most pro ready outside of Trevor Lawrence that year because he could read defense as well. He was from Alabama. He was coached by Nick Saban. He's gonna be able to read defenses. He's gonna make smart decisions.
And they took that away from him.
And then the coaches made decisions for him.
So
bad ones.
This is already going to be an improvement offensively, and I think that's where they really need it. I still think it's a top 10 defense in the league. Belichick's a big defensive coach. I think that's where his focus mainly ends up lying 95% of the time.
I think Christian Gonzalez is going to be a rare corner to be in the defensive player of the year running. I think Bill Belichick is going to have a field day coaching him.
I hope so, but a lot of stuff I've heard hasn't been the best for him. He's been doing really good, but a big thing I know Belichick likes out of his corners, safeties, D-backs, is tackling, and he does not tackle super well. So there's going to be times where during a game, I hope he can make a play on a ball or something because I need to see if he can actually make some really good tackle if he's going to try to be a number one corner because he's going to be going up against some number one receivers who are going to catch the ball no matter what you do, but you better get them to the ground. I don't want to see Tyreek Hill running free yards on end after breaking a tackle from a corner. I need tackling. Somebody needs to at least slow him down to get somebody else over there to make a tackle, but that's my biggest concern about him.
They were not really a team that got blown out at all last season.
No, we were in just about every game. I think the Bears might have been one of the worst ones.
Bears game 33-14 was really the only time.
That was probably the worst game. That's the one where Mac Jones got hurt. That was when Mac Jones was trying to come back, but it was a Thursday night. Monday night game, so they weren't sure if he was exactly ready or not yet. So he came in and played like a quarter, and then they changed to Zappy, and that's where the points came from. But the Bears were already taking.
Their only other 2-score losses were the Dolphins in Week 1, the Ravens in Week 3 when they started really hot, and then the Bills in Week 13. On a Thursday night, they lost 24-10. So outside of the Bears, they didn't really get destroyed by anybody.
No, and the Dolphins one was the fumble, I believe.
I believe that was a fumble late. They were in that game until
they were literally we were in the red zone and he fumbled the ball. So then, at that point, you were already down by a score. Giving the ball back while you were in scoring position was kind of the killer.
Oh, and the Bills week 18, 35-23. That was a weird game. Now that was a Bills were off the DeMar Hamlin thing. That was weird.
I know. I was ignoring that game. Didn't count.
I won't fault you for that.
But no, you go.
You done with your piece?
Yeah, you go. I'm trying to just keep going.
I think I think this is how crazy things can turn around. Everybody except me seems to have forgotten how good Mac Jones was his rookie year.
Yeah, recently,
and I think he's closer. I think his rookie year was closer to the player he actually is than what he was last year. He's a young QB. He is not a force multiplier on offense. He's not a Patrick Mahomes who makes everybody better. But when he doesn't have a play caller and he can't audible at the line, what is he supposed to do? And then Bailey Zappi came in, and I don't know how much any of you have watched of him. He's got 8 dudes at the line of scrimmage. He's thrown into wide receiver lanes the size of a school bus.
Yeah, like I said, when he came in, it was more or less throw to this guy, and because defenses were more worried about you running or something else, it was just throw it right there. Okay, they're not really covering it.
I want people to realize something. Bailey Zappi, he played 2 games, 2.5 games. He didn't throw 100 passes. He threw 92 passes total.
That's efficiency.
And then he also got waived. He's on the practice squad right now.
Efficiency.
I will be shocked if we see Mac Jones we saw last year. I think he's going to be what we saw his rookie year, and I think he's going to win.
I just think he's going to actually be able to use his greatest asset of his mind.
Yeah,
instead of just being told what to do.
He does not have the best arm in the league.
He doesn't have the best anything in the
He
league.
He might have one of the best processors, though.
What are we talking about? CPUs?
No, in terms of looking at a receiver and being able to tell if they'll be open in the next 2 or 3 steps. Like he did his entire rookie year.
Like, I get what you're saying.
It didn't look like his rookie year. He forced a lot of balls. It didn't look like he was being told in the headset, this is who you're throwing to. It said, these are the 3 guys to look at here, and if not, throw it away.
Yeah. I just think there's other quarterbacks that are just as good at that. They probably just don't have to do it as much.
Yeah, well, Patrick Mahomes, I'm sorry. You don't have a Mahomes processor or Burrows.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's them. I think
Allen is
probably no. I don't think. I think he's above Allen in that mind sense. Of
Allen's a little too reckless even for me, and I love Josh Allen.
But I think Aaron Rodgers can still do that very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's stuff like that. I think he's definitely up there, especially a young quarterback.
They're also a very streaky team last year. They started 0-1.
Yeah.
Or they lost 1, won 1, lost 2, won 2, lost 1, won 3, lost 2, won 1, lost 2, won 1, lost 1.
Yeah. It very much had to do with I think so. The beginning of the streak was after the Green Bay game, where we lost Green Bay. We lose before then.
No. Yes, you were 1-3 at that point.
1-3, and then we won.
Won 2 in a row.
And that was with Zappy. So that was the change of offense.
Zappy didn't come in until the Chicago game.
No, he came in after Green Bay. Green Bay's where Matt got hurt and Brian Hoyer.
Okay.
So he came and started those next 2. But what 2 opponents were they? Jets and somebody?
That he beat?
Yeah.
The Lions and the Browns.
So that was with the Lions before they were anything, and that was the Browns still without Deshaun Watson, who knew they weren't really doing anything this year until then. And that was before the Lions were anywhere being good. They were still the shitty Lions.
They were during their 1-6 stretch, 1-7 stretch, whatever it was to start last year.
So I think that's where that one sits. I think there was just a change, and then lost to the Bears. And I'm pretty sure we lost the next week. It's very streaky. I think it did.
Lost to the Bears, and then you beat the Jets.
Then we beat the Jets, that's when Mac Jones started, and we always beat the Jets.
Then you beat the Colts the next week, and then the Jets again out of the bye week.
So that was just an easy 4 games.
Then you lost to Minnesota, Buffalo, beat the Cardinals, lost to the Raiders in glorious fashion, I might add.
That should have been a win.
Lost to the Bengals, beat the Dolphins, lost to the Bills.
So I think that big streak would have been broken up with a Raiders win. That big losing streak.
If it costs me watching that clip over and over, I don't want that to be the world I live in.
Okay.
That's a glorious clip.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. That's my favorite clip from last season.
Just who do you blame?
The receiver.
You blame Myers over Rondre Stevenson?
There was a
Stevenson was running
who
the
started
ball.
the running back? Absolutely him back.
Okay.
I remember it being
because I remember people saying it was Myers, and I was like, no. If I was in that position, I would have been like, shit, are we losing? Do I need to get rid of this ball? Holy shit. I would have been fucking oh, damn.
He should have had the ball. If I recall correctly, it was a 4th down with 3 seconds left in the game.
Sure, it was something like that.
He should
we ran the ball.
Just get in front of the line and fall down. Let it go to overtime.
That's all they had to do. It was kind of ridiculous. Unless it might have been.
If you have a gaping hole you can get through and get to the end zone yourself, fine. But you didn't.
I've tried to remove most of that memory from my brain.
Any last thoughts?
No, I think the offense is going to improve, and I think the defense is still top 10.
Yeah, I mean, if they can be the 16th to 20th best offense in the league,
they're playoffs.
There's no reason this can't be a 9-win team.
I have we're doing our stretch thing. I have them at 8 is the low end. And 12 is the high.
I think I have 7 to 11 as the win range. Just looking at it here.
That's all right. See, I gave myself an extra one compared to you. I feel like that's a win. That's a good job by me.
Well, I look at it. Bills, Miami are going to be tough division games. Dallas and Philly are going to be tough. Washington's going to be tough. At Pittsburgh on a Thursday night's always weird. Chiefs, I'm already counting that as a loss.
Don't worry, I am too. I don't know how we beat that. It'd be cool, but I don't know how.
And the Jets, to me, are swing games. You can lose both. You could win both.
Yep.
But it's the Jets and the Patriots, so until proven otherwise, the Patriots are going to win both those games.
Yeah, until proven otherwise.
Until further notice. And I hate the taste of those words.
But I think it's time to go to the speed.
Team of really fast guys.
Let's
go to Miami. One of the. They're somehow a Super Bowl favorite and still a sleeper for next season, and that's a tough. It's tough to be both of those things. They were the 11th ranked offense last year, 11th scoring offense, 6th total offense, 24th scoring defense, 18th total defense.
Yeah, I think they were relying on the offense.
They were 9-8 in the regular season. Started off really hot, got really slow, got really hot, got really slow.
Which seems to be a lot of their MO recently. That
that's bizarre. They won. Hold on.
The year before.
They won 3. They lost 3. They won 5. They lost 5, and then they won 1 and lost.
Last year,
they're
the only team in NFL history 2 years ago to go 8-8. They had an 8-game losing streak and an 8-game winning streak. They won the game 1, then they went to lose 8 straight, and then they won the last 8 games.
Yep. I believe that was Brian Flores last year there, I think.
I think so, too.
Or his second last year. I don't know.
I think it was his
last Flores years are weird because there was 2 years he was the 16-game season, then 1 year of the 17-game season.
Yeah, so he was the last one with the 17 games.
Yeah.
Because he was 8-8.
So I think his total record, he was like 20, 24, and 25.
He did good there.
Yeah. The fact he won 24 games with that team is a miracle.
And now, they're all offense.
Now they've totally switched
to complete another offense and offensive coaching.
I don't really have any major thoughts. Can Tua stay healthy? If he can, there's no reason this isn't a playoff team.
Yeah, and I just think they kill with speed. I just don't know how. There's so much speed there with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They drafted Darche Arcane, something like that. And that man looks freaking fast. I'm like, dude, all they have is speed.
And can they cut back on the streakiness?
Oh, yeah. Can they actually just win games? And, if you're going to lose, just lose 1 or 2, not go on a 5-game
the three-game losing streak early, I know you didn't have Tua, but the 5-game losing streak at the end of the year, can you beat the Packers? Packers weren't playing for anything. Can you beat the Patriots? No, I'm sorry. You're a better team than the Patriots.
They should be.
Last year, they certainly were.
But that's our division. That's the division thing, dude. You can't just come in here and win everything.
And also a tough schedule here. I don't think I realized that until just now looking at it.
I don't think, the AFC East is playing a lot of.
They have a late bye week, too. That's weird.
Nah, that's good. Playoff aspiration teams want the late buys.
I mean, at the Chargers, at the Patriots, Broncos, at Buffalo, Giants, Carolina, at Philadelphia, New England at home, at Kansas City. If you can go 500 in that,
you're looking
with
good.
Your schedule coming out of the bye week, there is no reason this is not a playoff team.
They're looking good. They can go 500 in that stretch.
Yeah. And that's 3.
You'd have to win the Broncos, 6, 8, Chargers.
9 games. If you can win 4 or 5 of them,
I think they can definitely win 4.
Yeah, I mean, then you come out the Raiders and Jets. Who knows there? Tennessee or Washington, Tennessee are not pushovers, but I think you're definitely better than both teams. Jets, Cowboys at the Ravens and Bills. I think you can win 2 of those games.
I think out of that final stretch, you can win most of that. I think the only team that's really chalked up loss is going to be the Jets. Otherwise, you should be competing with every other team.
The only team I look at and say you definitely should lose this game is Philadelphia. I don't even look at Kansas City that way. That is a London game too. That's weird. So that's always going to be weird. Excuse me, Germany game. So those games are always weird.
Yeah.
Just hope that game's as good as it should be.
We'll have to find out. I just think they split with the Jets in those last final weeks. Like, I just think that's what it is. I think you split with Jets and Bills. The Patriots are the team that they can either get 0-2 or 2-0 by.
I have no major thoughts on this team.
Speed kills. Let's see if it fucking wins Super Bowls. Speed can kill. Let's see if it can win Super Bowls. That's what this team is.
Jalen Ramsey's hurt too, so you essentially add him at the trade deadline around there.
I'd say it's probably going to end up being around week 10, after the bye, and start coming out hot. So they might lose more of those games early, but at least then coming back later, if you're getting playoffs and aspiration berths and stuff, you add in a big piece.
All right, now I guess, unless we have anything else, we're going to go to the Bills, who are
the favorite to win the division.
I wouldn't say the favorite, the defending champions at least.
Definitely defending champs.
That one I can prove factually. They were the second-ranked scoring and total offense. They were the second-ranked scoring defense, sixth total defense last year. They were one of the 10 best teams in the league for the majority of the season.
Yep.
They ended. They didn't look great. They obviously had the DeMar Hamlin situation, Week 17 against the Bengals. They blew some teams out early in the season. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they were taking care of business. I don't know if they're going to have the same aspects this year going into it. Like, they already been having a little bit of infighting going on a little bit, kind of like what we were talking about with the Jets. That could happen, some implosion. It depends on how they look and how they do, but winning kills all that. If they're out there winning games, it's not going to matter. But as soon as like you said, they lose a lot or blows up, they're kind of going to be screwing themselves.
And something to think about with this team, something I've been on since the playoffs last year, Sean McDermott's got to be his seat's warming up a little bit.
Yeah.
How many years can you just knock on the door
and not make a breakthrough
and not
big games
and not bust it open?
I don't know. It might be how the Jets run, though. They don't really bust through a lot of shit.
Yeah, I mean. But to keep losing to the same teams like that, or I shouldn't say the same teams, but to keep losing.
Yeah, not good for you.
You were the favorite to win the Super Bowl for all of last year, all of the regular season. Just about.
Time, yeah.
It was between them and Philadelphia for most of the year.
Yeah, because it just felt like those were the two teams that were making it.
My Super Bowl prediction of them in San Francisco looked really good until it didn't.
That's
I remember it was
go.
It was week 18 and I was sticking my chest out. One of the teams my friend picked didn't even make the playoffs. I was like, oh yeah, I got this.
I got this.
And then they both lost. So we both lost that bet, but I was closer to winning.
I guess so.
Yeah. Well, he picked the Saints. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Oh, that's fair. What a terrible pick.
Yeah, at least if you said the Rams, that have been like, they got decimated. I could see the logic in it.
Yeah. But I think the Bills just going to cruise for.
I was underwhelmed, I will be honest. They didn't add any major weapons this offseason. I thought they were the perfect fit for DeAndre Hopkins, but instead he went to Tennessee, which nobody saw coming.
Yeah, the place receivers go to die. I guess we should have saw it coming.
We should have. Dalton Kincaid was their first-round pick at tight end. And I'm interested if he's going to hit the ground running. Dawson Knox severely regressed last season.
Yeah, And, like, we'll see. I think Dawson Knox is still going to be that red zone guy where Dalton Kincaid's going to be more of, like, the long
I think he's going to
passing
have
zones.
a Kyle Pitts role where they're going to split him out wide sometimes. They're going to keep him in the block. They're going to line him up in the backfield.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be – I think he should be used all over the field.
The way the Ravens have their pistol formation with Patrick Ricard in the backfield with a running back, they can use Kincaid in that role.
Yep. I think that's going to be a big thing to see how – because you used a first-round pick on a tight end. You should be able to see what you can do with him and use him.
The Stephon Diggs drama is weird.
I just think as long as they're winning, it doesn't matter. I think if they start losing and the offense isn't going well and Stephon Diggs doesn't think he's getting the ball, there's a blow-up there. But as long as you're winning and he's scoring and doing things, I don't think it's going to matter.
I mean, if this team's winning, I don't know how he's not getting the ball.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He's clearly their best weapon.
I think if they're winning, he's part of it automatically. So it's a matter of when you start losing, what's going to happen. But I think, like, they start off hot.
I think this team can start off hot. Yeah, I mean,
they could start off kind of how they started off last year, blowing up some teams and looking like the Super Bowl favorite.
I mean, at the Jets, it's kind of an up-in-the-air game. Raiders, Commanders, you should win both those games. Miami, who really knows? Jaguars, I think you're better than them, but I don't think that's you're going to waltz to a win.
Yeah, I think that's up in the air.
Giants, I think you're better than the Giants. At the Patriots, it's always up in the air. I think you're better than the Bucks. Bengals on a Sunday night. Who knows? See how it goes. I think you're better than Denver. Jets again. At Philadelphia is the only game I look at that you should lose. At Kansas City, I don't know. You get them off a bye week.
Yeah.
I think you're better than Dallas. I think you're better than the Chargers, and then Patriots, Dolphins. Those last 2 weeks, I think all three teams there are playing for something.
Yeah. It'll depend if you still are and what you look like if you need it.
But I see 2, 3, 4 games this team is going to be – 5 games this team is going to be heavy favorites in.
Oh, yeah.
Go 500 in those other 12. You're a 10-win team.
Yeah, I think there are at least 10 wins. Or I should say I think there are at least 8 wins is their low end.
I think –
and then –
given regression and, a bounce doesn't go your way, I think I would say 8 to 13 is their range.
Yeah, 8 to 14. Give them that extra one because I think that 14th game is going to be what decides a lot of them. If the Chiefs get it, if the Bengals get it, or if the Bills get it.
Yep.
So, I think they could get to 14. It's just a matter of winning a lot of big games during that stretch at times.
All right, Mike. Division MVP.
Tyreek Hill.
All right, I thought you were going to take the layup. Josh Allen.
No. I like staying away from the quarterback.
Okay. I'll go somebody else.
It's a lot more fun.
I'll say you took Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
I was going to take Stephon Diggs.
So he was who I was thinking for Offensive Player of the Year would be Diggs.
Oh, sorry.
But otherwise, I don't see why.
Who will be the Offensive Player of the Year, Mike?
Probably Tyreek Hill.
You already picked him for MVP.
I thought you were asking me in real generality.
No.
And I was like, yeah, he could do it, I guess. If that's what we're asking me. No, I think go with. I think for that offense to succeed, it's going to be Jalen Waddle, dude. I think they need everything clicking.
I'm tempted to pick Mike Gesicki.
It's not a bad one. He could be a crazy guy.
Can I get a little weird here?
You already are, but okay.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
All right.
I think Bill O'Brien is going to know how to use a big body receiver like that. He's going to know how to use Juju in space. And I think he's going to have his best year since his sophomore year in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Who's your defensive player of the year?
Matt Judon.
Yeah,
for that defense to stay where it's at, he needs to produce. And even when he doesn't produce, he needs to produce to make people worry about him to let the others produce.
I'm going to go with Matt Milano of the Bills.
Not bad. No, Matt Milano's a good one.
He's a coverage player, so he doesn't get noticed. I think he's a big reason nobody really gashed that defense, except the weeks he coincidentally wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coincidentally.
It's a coincidence.
No connections.
I also think he's going to need to compensate. They did lose Tremaine Edmonds in free agency.
So he is going to have to step up.
He's going to have to step up.
Especially in the run game, yeah.
Breakout player of the year. That one I'll give to Mike Gesicki.
Can I give it to Kendrick Bourne?
Okay.
Like, he kind of broke out in San Fran, but then he came here and sucked, and I think he's going to be used.
We got 2 Patriots, though.
So, like, well, because I think otherwise it could be...
I'll switch my pick. James Cook.
I was going to say, I think Garrett Wilson already broke out.
He's broke out. He's rookie of the year. He broke out.
A lot of known people on these rosters.
I'll go with James Cook.
Okay.
That all of them?
We just got rookie
of the year.
You go first because I know I could say mine, but mine's like out there.
I want to pick Dalton Kincaid, but I've already picked a couple of Bills.
It's not a bad one though.
So Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah. I wanted to go with Demario Douglas. He might be a big receiver in that room. And like that receiving core, I think there's no true number one. You think Juju might be able to pop off to be that, but I don't see it being like that. I see it being used very multiple ways and different receivers playing at different spots. And he's looked really good. I think he could help them out. I think guy I talked about a little bit earlier too, Dolphins running back, rookie Dache Arcane. Looks like he could end up being the number one with Jeff Wilson got hurt. He might be just behind Mostert, and he's a small speed back that kind of seems like the offense they like to run down there in Miami.
Any other thoughts in this division?
No, I think it could be another division where every team is over 500.
I think we need to take 2 of these teams and put them in the NFC South, and then take 2 of those teams and put them back here, just to balance things out a little bit.
I think we should just realign all the things so that your division is your 4 closest teams together.
We're going to take the Jets and Patriots. We're going to put them in the NFC South.
I mean, if you're going to put me there and give me some free shit, I'm not against it.
I think half the teams that missed the playoffs in the AFC this year are going to be better than some NFC teams that make it.
That's how it was a little bit last year, too. I just think if they're realigning divisions, it's based on your sector of where you are located. Like Florida would basically be its own division with its 4 teams. Is there 4 teams? There are 4 teams down there.
Jacksonville, Tampa, Miami. Who's the 4th?
I don't know. That's why I was trying to think if there's a 4th. Maybe there's not. So. Maybe there's one who's right above them. Whatever. But that's how I would do it. It would be by where you are located. Like California would have like the Rams and the Chargers would be in the same division.
I mean, I think Texas Dallas
would be one.
Dallas in the East is weird.
I don't know if they'd end up in the East. There'd be a lot of teams.
I probably have them south, but I don't make the rules. We'll be back with our full season predictions at some point.
Oh, dude, we'll be back with a lot more football. Go Pats. You got anything?
No.
All right. Talk to you all again later.